It's Sunday, but we're still in tech mode, right? Your digital life hack is coming up, and stay tuned. We've got a question from our listener mail next. Let's say you bought a shiny new TV to watch the big game. You turn it on, but the picture is horrible. Let's fix that. First, you probably don't have a defective TV. It's that your set isn't calibrated for your home's lighting. It's a simple fix. Head to your TV's display presets. There are video settings like Vivid, Film, Standard, and Sport. Try cycling through them to see which one you like best. Another way, use your eyes. Take control in your picture settings. Contrast, hue, brightness, sharpness, and color temperature. Adjust them to your preference. Finally, TV pros use calibration DVDs that walk you through each setting. Thankfully, there are now calibration apps for smartphones and TVs. Check out THX TuneUp, CalMan, and Spectra CalMan. If you need links, just hit my website. That's komando.com. And while you're there, enter to win a new computer at komando.com/win. Okay, now we're going to segue just a little bit and tune into what you, our podcast loyal listeners, are curious about. It's time to open the Komando mail. Katie in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Hey, Katie.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm great. What's going on?
So I'm a huge fan of yours, and I was listening, and believe it or not, it comes on our local radio station in Harrisonburg, Virginia, WSVA, and you have your little tidbits that come on.
Love those.
And we are interested, I love them, but we were interested in purchasing an Apple Watch for our daughter. She's 22. She has the Series 3 right now. She wants one with data. So I was trying to research it on my own, but I also remembered hearing a tidbit about something happening in 60 days with the Apple Watches, and that could impact the price of those watches, something with a trademark
Yes.
that detects the oxygen level or something. I'm sorry, you were much better at explaining those than I am. So I started researching. I was like, okay, what would be a great series? I need to do this because Kim said, if we're going to purchase it, don't wait till Christmas. And I was like, well, I'll just hop on your website and write an email. And then it has been this wonderful progression of being able to speak with you.
Oh, that's awesome, Katie. That's awesome. Thank you. But you retained a lot in that 60-second bit that I was talking about with the Apple Watch. Yeah, there is a trademark violation between the company who has, quote unquote, invented the way that the blood oxygen sensor works by using a red light. And Apple saying like, no, we didn't take that from you. And now it's going through this whole court system. And if, depending upon what happens in the courts, is that they may have to stop selling the watch for a while until they figure it all out. And so that's really what I was talking about. But the difference between going from a Series 3 to a Series 9, she's going to love it. She really will. Because, there's just so many more features to it. I mean, you get emergency SOS, which, I think as a parent of a 22-year-old, that's fabulous, right? That if something happens, whether it's a crash or she's hiking or someplace where there's no cell connection, is that they'll be able to actually get a text message out, fall detection, then always on altimeter, the accelerometer, the gyroscope. And so the whole idea is that if you want to buy an Apple Watch, I probably wouldn't wait say another month or so, because this is working its way through the court system. And it's a big company that's going against Apple. It was just like a little guy who's like, I did this, I invented this in 1952, be like, all right, well, maybe it's not going to amount to anything. But having a watch, being able to give it to her and have that big jump from a Series 3 to a 9, I think that makes a lot of sense.
And you recommend the 9 over the 8?
The 9 is the latest and greatest, right? And so, and it's obvious that your daughter keeps things for a long time. And so and I know you can get the 8 a little bit cheaper. The 9 starts at $399. But I'm always for, if you're going to buy somebody who's into the whole Apple ecosystem, she has an iPhone, I bet, right?
Yes.
And then, so she's all into MacBooks and everything's all interconnected.
No, unfortunately, not a MacBook. She is not, but that's okay. She still works in the Mac world with the phone and the watch.
Someday we'll get a MacBook. Someday, when that price comes down, so it's a little bit more reasonable instead of $2,000 or $1,000 out the door, depending upon which model. But I would definitely take a look at the Series 9 versus the Series 8. You do have some other features that you don't get in 8, like the double tap, and the screen is a little bit more clearer, has a better display. I would definitely just go with the 9 instead of the 8 at this point because, the 8 is old tech, the 9 is the latest and greatest, and hey, she's going to keep it a while. So she's going to get full use out of it. Katie, thank you so much for your call today. Hey, major thanks for giving me your listening time today. And if a tech question is just gnawing at you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with me. Hop on over to komando.com and hit email Kim. I read every single note. Now, in a digital world, you need to stay up to date. That's why you need my free daily newsletter. You can sign up right now over at getkim.com. That's getkim.com.